Ever wonder how to retain information more effectively? Come journal with me as I show you a technique I use to help me retain information. Plus, I'm going to give you 10 tips that will help you retain information more effectively. Hi, my name is Kecie, and on this channel, I share my love for journaling, commonplacing, and everything in between. So let's get down to business. A few weeks ago, I was watching Cleopatra documentary on Netflix. I don't know about you, but whenever I watch or read something that is of great interest to me, I tend to want to dig deep and look for more information about that subject. This has been a passion of mine since I was a little girl, and as you can see, it has not stopped. So it came as no surprise that after watching the docuseries on Cleopatra, I wanted to learn more about her. Her story is fascinating, and the Netflix docuseries were well done. So I decided to learn more about them. And I'm going to tell you the process that I do to collect the information, what helps me retain the information, and then I'm going to give you some tips to help you do the same. Whenever a story or a subject or something like that interests me, the first thing that I do is do a research. So in this case, I began to research Cleopatra's story, mainly looking for information online. I stumbled upon a few websites like worldhistory.org and britannica.com. I know that whenever you're starting to do research on a subject or something, Wikipedia, finding the information in there is very controversial, but I will be lying if I said I didn't look there too for information on Cleopatra, which I did. So I want to put it out there. Some of the information, yes, I went to Wikipedia, but like I said before, a lot of the research that I did was from worldhistory.org or britannica.com. Since researching the information for a specific subject at times can be vast and overwhelming, like the information for Cleopatra was, what I like to do to help me gather my thoughts and information, I love to search for a timeline of events. Once I find a timeline of events, I like to organize my research based on that timeline. For example, if I have a timeline from Cleopatra from the moment she was born to the moment she passed away, that timeline will include different tips about what happened when she was born, what happened, for example, when her father died. All those things on the timeline is going to help me to gather the information that I did and organize my thoughts a little better rather than just having her story told in different ways and out of order. One thing that I use to help me retain information is put things in one place, in one notebook. And once I gather all the information from online and different sources, perhaps maybe books, but mainly I do online. I organize it in order of events, and then I printed that document on a clear sticker paper, and then I cut it, which you see me put in here where I cut different sections, and then I add it to my notebook. So up to this point, everything is good. I do my research for the information that I want. I put it in order of events chronologically and on a Word document. Then I print it out and put it on my paper. But guess what? This is not enough, not for me, because I learn that I retain information more effectively by adding visual elements. This is where commonplacing comes into place. What is commonplacing? Commonplacing is the practice of basically cataloging information and or inspirational tidbits that you gather throughout your day-to-day in one easy access book or notebook. This is a technique that has been used for many centuries, and I just find it that is a way that to help me retain, gather, and just love the gathering of information. This notebook is my catch-all for those tidbits of information of the subjects that I love. Not only do I write, but I add pictures, stickers, stamps, and any other creative media that will help me to tell the story of the subject that I'm learning of. And this is what I say is my technique to help me retain and capture that information. I found that reading about a subject is not enough for me to retain that information. I need to add visual elements. Here is where the picture, stickers, and stamps make a big impact. I consider myself a visual learner, and putting information to paper in a creative way is a must for me. This is the technique that I use to retain information more easily. I found when I was reading, because like I said, I love to read, I love to research, and I always look for things that inspire me. And I found a paper published by the Department of Education of the United States back in 2016 that said that various studies report that 75% of all the information processed by the brain is derived from visual formats. In other words, 75% of the information that you and I process is derived, it comes from visual things, for the things that we see. So you can see how important the visual learning is for many people, including me. So by having visual elements on the pages of my Commonplace notebook, I am able to remember more effectively the information that I gather. We all heard the saying, a picture is worth 1,000 words. And that is so true. We can see a picture and have an intuition about the story behind it without reading the story. So whenever we pair words with pictures, our retention of that information increases. So you see this page right here that I put together of Cleopatra. Not only did I put pictures, I put on the stamps, I put the year of when that happened. And although I don't have to read the whole paragraph, looking at the pictures, looking at the big number of that year, I can remember what happened or recall the thing that happened for that year. And that is so helpful to me, and it makes it more entertaining to gather the information. And you're going to say, or maybe ask, okay, Kecie, why do you need to retain this information? That is information that you don't need. Well, this is a technique and a habit that works not only for if you're wanting to learn more about history, but it's a technique that can help you to retain information of any sort. Let's say you're doing a study guide on something that you need for school or something that you need to memorize for work. It's helpful when you add words and pictures to help you retain more of the information that you gather. Retaining information more effectively is crucial, as we all know, is crucial for learning, is crucial for your productivity, and also for personal development. The strategies to enhance memory and retention are so diverse. I'm not going to say that just adding pictures to your notebook is going to make you the memory wizard of the century, because I will be lying. It's a technique that works for some people like me who are visual learners. So because the strategies to help with enhance your memory and retention are so diverse, catering to different learning styles and preferences, it is important that you find your style. My style is as a visual learner, so I love to add, like I said, pictures and stamps and stickers. All of that helps me. It just makes my creative juices flow, and that's one thing that works for me. So right now I'm going to give you 10 tips that can help you and find the method that you need to create a way to help you retain information more effectively. So let me say that again. I'm going to give you some effective methods that you can use to help you retain information more effectively, and here they go. Number 1 is understand first and memorize second. Okay, this might be duh, of course, that's what I need to do. It's also good to remember that it's easier to remember information that you understand. Try to grasp the underlying concepts before focusing on memorization if that's what you want to do. Relating new information to what you already know can also improve comprehension and retention. So that is important. Number 2, active engagement. Engage with the material actively instead of passively reading or listening. This could involve summarizing what you learn, like I do here, where I summarize the stuff that I learn. You can also find a way to teach the material to someone else. I love to sit down with a cup of coffee and tell my husband of what I learned. And it helps me because I'm telling him kind of like did you know what I just learned? Oh my gosh. Check this out about Cleopatra. And one funny thing is that when I was learning about Cleopatra, I sat down with him on a Saturday morning and I was talking and I said, I never realized how the Ptolemies and Cleopatra were close together. Yes, I knew she was from that dynasty, but I didn't realize how close she was to or that dynasty was to Alexander the Great, which, by the way, I did a pretty cool video not too long ago, so I'm going to leave a link here. But how these two stories were together and just to see the story woven. So if you want to retain information more effectively, talking of the material to others or applying it to practical scenarios is a good way to retain that information. Another technique involves reviewing the material over increasing intervals of time, meaning you can just repeat it using flashcards or spaced repetition software to practice and remember information. Spaced repetition, I learned that is highly effective for long-term retention. It's not something that works for me because this technique I find boring, but I don't know. If it works for you, it works for you. If you want to learn like that with flashcards and spaced repetition and doing all that, good for you. But that is a technique that others use. Okay, and now number 4 is mnemonic devices. Mnemonic are tools that help you remember information through association. This can be in the form of acronyms, visual images, rhyme, or connecting new information to personal experiences or familiar stories. This technique I use a lot when, for example, I need to remember a location like a map or something. That's when I use this technique. Another technique to help you with retaining information, and this is number 5, is healthy lifestyle. Never underestimate the power of a healthy lifestyle on your memory. Adequate sleep, regular physical exercise, a balanced diet, staying hydrated can significantly enhance cognitive function and information retention. Another tip is to break down information into smaller, manageable chunks. Organize these chunks logically or in a way that makes sense to you. This method leverages the brain's ability to remember more effectively when information is structured rather than in a random sequence. Number 7, the practice of using the information in as many different contexts as possible. Application of knowledge through problem solving or in real life situations can greatly enhance retention and understanding. Number 8, mind mapping. Create mind maps to visually organize information, showing the relationship between different pieces of knowledge. Mind mapping can help in remembering and understanding the big picture as well as the finer details. Number 9, stay curious and make connections. Cultivate a genuine interest in what you are learning. Try to connect new information to things you already know or care about. The more connections you make, the better you will be able to remember the information. And number 10, Limit multitasking. I know. Multitasking is good, but can also hinder your ability to form memories effectively. Focus on one task or topic at a time to ensure that you are fully engaged with the material. This is my technique that I use to retain information. For me, putting it on paper with visuals is so helpful because it helps me to retain the information. And then these tips or strategies that I gave you for you to do the same and find your own way. Experiment with the strategies to find what works best for you, as different techniques may suit different types of information or learning styles. With practice and persistence, you can significantly improve your ability to retain information effectively. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure that you like this video and follow me for more content like this. Remember, it is never too late to start something new. So start today. I'll see you on the next one. Bye.